Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. My name's OwenAlec, and on this channel I like to do everything drum related, but then I also started getting into the media side of things as well, which you've probably seen the title is what this video is about today. Now, for those of you that don't know, I already have a business of my own called Silver Lining Studios. This is a music shop, rehearsal rooms, recording studio, bit of everything all in one. I'm wanting to expand and kind of do something a little bit different, so I'm setting up almost like a separate business, but it's more of an expansion on what I'm doing already. I'm actually looking to go into videography and cinematography, so I want to start creating my own short films, but then I also want to start doing maybe things like weddings and stuff. Just kind of like doing highlight reels for weddings and then build it up from there. So with that in mind, I wanted to invest in that and get some better gear. Now, anyone who's actually in the camera world will know that Canon are releasing two huge cameras coming out very, very soon. You've got the EOS R5 and EOS R6. Now, the R5 is way over spec for the kind of thing that I would need it for, but the R6 is ticking a lot of my boxes. Even in that price range of approximately £2,000, maybe just over, it looks like it's going to be a viable option for me. So I'm looking into getting that. That being said, I also wanted to get some better lenses because you can have an amazing body, but then if the glass is lacking or it's the cheaper end stuff, you're not necessarily going to get a good picture. So let's move on to the actual unboxing of this lens. So this lens is secondhand. I get it from a company called MPB, and I've actually got a few of my lenses, like you can see some of these ones here. This 35mm IS lens and the 18-135, that kind of stuff. I got these from the same place because they are at a really good price, but still decent quality. You can actually get them in different conditions. So obviously the worse condition it is, the cheaper it is. But even at the like new level, it's still an amazing price. I think this lens that I've got here retails brand new around the sort of £1,000 mark, give or take. I'm not 100% sure, but second hand, this was around about £650. So brilliant. So shout out to MPB. They're a really good company, they're dead prompt with the delivery. I've never had any issues with them so far, so I highly recommend them. Go and check them out. They don't just have lenses and things like that, they have bodies and bits of lighting and other bits of accessories and stuff like that, so it's definitely worth going and checking them out. Oh, just straight away, like, just seeing that, because this is an L lens. This is the first L lens that I have, and this is like a step up from the regular EF glass that I've been getting. It's kind of like the industry standard in a lot of ways. I think there's a lot of YouTubers out there that have got the RF version, which is just way, way up there. Something I definitely can't afford at this point. And I also don't really have, I couldn't justify buying one. I mean, I could afford it if I wanted to, but again, I just couldn't justify spending that kind of money. So here we have 16-35mm L lens f4. Now there's about 3 or 4 different versions of these. There's like the 2.8s, the Mark 1, the Mark 2, and different versions, like I say, but this f4 is the only one with image stabilization, and as a videographer or budding videographer, that's exactly what I'm going to need. I do wish that it come as a 2.8 aperture, a slightly faster lens, but you know, for the price, again, you can't really moan about it. So let's get this. Oh yes. The other good thing about MPB is that there's several different options in terms of what comes with what accessories. Now, you can get, for the same price as something with no accessories, something like what I got. I was very lucky. This came with a soft case, the full original packaging, and I think it also is coming with a lens hood. Yes, it does. In fact, there it is. It's to stop a bit of glare or anything like that when you're shooting outside. So that's always worth having. But yeah, look at this soft case for it. I mean, I've never had one of these before, and this is just awesome. Okay, here we go. Ta-da! Straight away, it's a lot bulkier and a lot heavier than my previous lenses and things. So you kind of typically associate something being heavier with better quality. That's not always the rule, but for now, I'm going to go with that. Now, one of the other big selling points for me for this was that I want to use this on my DJI Ronin SC. This is a gimbal, and you'd put the camera on there with the lens and everything like that, and you get really nice, smooth, stable shots. Now, typically, again, I say typically loosely, you would use a prime lens with this, one that's not a zoom lens, because zoom lenses will, like this one for instance, as you open it up and you zoom in, the actual front of it comes up, therefore throwing off the balance. So you would have to keep rebalancing it as you move this in and out, or the motors are going to be working overtime and you're going to run out of battery. There's just a bunch of problems there. Now, the attractive thing about this is the fact that it actually doesn't do that. It doesn't move in and out. It does a little bit at the front there. I don't know if you can see that, moving up and down like that. So you've got a little bit of movement there, but it's not extending massively, and it's actually not changing the weight too much of it, like making it front heavy or anything like that. So this is a really good, stable lens. So I'm really happy with this. Now, the reason why I opted for this particular lens in terms of it being a 16-35 is because when I come to buy the R6, that is a full frame sensor. So there's no crop on it, whereas this camera that I'm on at the moment, the Canon 77D, is an APS-C sensor, so it's a 1.6 crop. So whereas if, like for instance at the moment, this lens that I've got on at the moment is a 10-18. So at the moment I've got it all the way open at 10mm. But what it's actually seeing, what this distance is actually 16mm, because it's a 1.6, so you would take the 10, then times it by 1.6. And that's what the crop is. So when it's at such a wide angle like this, it's not that big of a deal, because like I say, the distance between 10 and 16 it's not the end of the world. You know, you can kind of get away with that. However, if you had a 1.6 crop on something that was 200mm already, you know, if you've got a zoom lens, then it can actually work in your favor, because then you're extending it so much further. So that's why DSLRs that are 1.6 crop with an APS-C sensor can be still popular. It's a bit of a give and take on that one. But for the thing that I need, when I come to get a full frame sensor, I'm going to need something that's a wide lens, but not necessarily going to have the barrel distortion at the edges, because if I do this, you can see the edges of the frame start to warp. As I put my hand there, my fingers get massive. So I don't want to kind of have that all the time, especially if I'm shooting weddings. When people start going to the edge of the frame, I don't really want them to start distorting. So having a lens like this, I think, is just going to really solve a lot of my problems. Now, we're already quite far into this video, but I do want to do a review of this as well. Today is the 2nd of July. I'm going to try and spend the next few days or week or so just testing it out, testing it against, testing this one against the current ones that I've got. This is actually an EFS lens, so then again, not great quality. Oh, something else I didn't mention as well was that when I get the full frame sensor camera, the R6, my EF lenses will also work on that camera without the crop, which is great, because then I've got a true 35, as well as having the 35 on here, but we'll skip over that. I also have I have a 50mm lens knocking around there that's got that's also an EF lens, so therefore it won't have the crop. But any EFS lenses, they will still carry the crop over. I'm not entirely sure why that happens, but it's just down to the way Canon have actually made these and the electronics inside, all that kind of stuff. So the EF35 that I've got will work as a 35mm lens, not with the 1.6 crop. So that's a really good thing as well, is that I can still use these on the new camera. I just love the fact that it comes in a bag. It's great.